Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well. My name is Sally Barban Perez, and now I'm gonna show my audience. I started this journal 3 years ago when a friend of mine started talking about people with disabilities. I fell in love with everything people with disabilities can do. I did my research and I became a registered behavior technician. What is an RBT? Why it is that important? How can we help other people that have been diagnosed? How can we measure behaviors? A registered behavior technician is one of the credentials extended by the Behavior Analyst Certification Board to paraprofessionals who execute interventions for promoting socially acceptable behaviors. Fun fact, this is an international credential, meaning that it works for a while. As a registered behavior technician, it's important to understand that we'll be working in a field of applied behavior analysis, which is an ABA. What in the world does that mean? Behavior analysis, which is BA, is a scientific approach for discovering environmental variables that influence socially significant behaviors. ABA wants to produce the behavior change to its clients that are practical and applicable. ABA helps to the everybody life in decline as well as the parents, their families, and their caretakers. It decreases maladaptive behaviors such as tantruming, self-injurious behavior, off-task, hitting, biting, and that's just to name a few. ABA is useful in addressing many socially significant behaviors such as drug taking, education as well as forming good eating habits. I personally work with children that have been diagnosed with autism or ADHD. I would like to say that the majority of the work is working within the population. When it comes to ABA, it is important to remember that behavior analysis can be used anywhere that is a behavior, because behavior is everywhere. That means that you might be working in a few different settings. You can find yourself in a school setting, in a home client, out of the community, after school program, which is kind of fun. You got to change it up a little bit. You are not stuck in an office or stuck in a house all day. You could just change it up, where the maladaptive behaviors tend to occur, and that is where you might find yourself spending most of your time. For example, if you have a client that cannot go to the grocery store with his mom without being in a grocery store and throwing the biggest tantrum, you will find yourself going with his mom and him in the grocery store to teach to get this behavior to decrease. As an RBT, you are spending most of the time with the client, not with the BCBA, which is the lead analyst, or with the BCBA, which is the assistant analyst on the case. An RBT has really important job. You are directly implementing these interventions. For example, let us say that Bill's self-injurious behavior, or SIB as they call it, and that's on you. This does not only affect Bill himself, it is affecting his family, caretakers, and his everyday life. You have a lot of people relying on you. What I'm trying to explain is that in this job is not to take it lightly. This is a serious job that with hard work and persistence, you can see something drastic as SIB behaviors to decrease. Data collection is a huge part of what an RBT does. Some examples will be taking frequency on the amount of attempt of SIB. This is also duration or latency. We take data to see if our interventions are working, if the target behavior is decreasing, and if it's not, what can we do to fix it? That is the whole reason we take data. It is an important part of the job. At this point in time, you might be saying to yourself, I know nothing about ABA, nor do know anything about interventions, or I don't know how to take data. Don't stress, please relax, calm down. You will learn all of this at the 40-hour training program. You're not just going to magically know these things. You will go to training to learn all of this. Now, the big question, is this job good for you? Is this something that you should pursue? Well, unfortunately, I can't answer those questions for you, but I could give you some questions that you would need to ask yourself. You need to reflect on your own answers to find out if this is something that you should look into. My first question is, are you comfortable working with children that have been different developmental disabilities? Do you have patience? Obvious disclaimer here. You will get punched, you will get pee on, you will get scratched, you will get kicked, and I could go on, but that's just part of the job. If you think you will react instantly by hitting back, that's not the job. This job comes with patience. This is the population that is just how they are, and what are we trying to fix? Our job is to fix needs, and it's not to fix giving back a little slap on the face. I love this job, and I love these kids, and I believe that this is not a bad feeling, and I believe that this is not a better feeling. This is not a better reward when you see that you are the reason that he has stopped hitting or scratching himself. You are the reason he is telling his mom, thank you, or I love you. You're making a difference on those kids' life. If your answer is yes to both questions, then becoming an RBT is definitely something that you should consider. Unfortunately, autism is on the rise of our country, around the world. We need you to make sure and make a difference in this kid's life, and you could be that person. Now, I'm gonna show again my audience. Thank you so much. Bye.